Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. I hope everyone's having a good summer. Is there anyone here for public participation? Joe, did we have anyone sign up? No?
Nobody was signed up.
No? Public participation. Okay, the report of the chairman. The only thing I have for my fellow board members is the CABE convention is coming up. There's information out there. If anyone is interested, it'd be nice to have somebody attend. I'm going to look at it as well as the speakers. It is picked up and reimbursed by the board, so please let Joe or I know if you're interested. CABE convention.
Oh,
I think it's right in the beginning of the year. Jerry, we went one year. It's like right in September.
Oh, like in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
I'll have Terry send it. I'll send it out this Friday.
okay. So if you're interested, please let us know. I am looking at it. Dennis is looking at it. So that's all I have.
Oh, shoot.
No, they're full convention. They're full convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Any questions on the minutes that were posted? Comments on the minutes? Any questions on the warrants? Discussion or question on the warrants? No, they're straightforward. There's a lot in the year. Let's go to item C under consent agenda. Joe?
Sure. I'd like to address both items C and D. First, C is notification of new hires and appointments. It's been an incredibly busy summer as we've been onboarding many new staff members based on some of our newly budgeted positions as well as several of the replacement positions from retirements and whatnot. As is tradition, I'll invite all the new certified staff to the first board meeting in September so you can meet all of them. You want me to go to D?
Yes.
Good. It is my pleasure to introduce Julia Strong as our next principal of Jockey Hollow Middle School. Julia is accompanied tonight by her two boys, Liam and Logan. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Julia has been working in Monroe for the last 20 years, beginning her career as a fifth grade teacher at Chalk Hill before moving to Massac as a social studies teacher. I'm very familiar with the level of work that Julia has produced as we worked very closely when I was principal and Julia was assistant principal at Massac. She has spent the last 2 years serving as the director of the STEM Academy, the Jockey Hollow STEM Academy. In addition to her work as the assistant principal, Julia has also provided leadership to the arts in Monroe, serving as the fine arts department chair at Massac and overseeing the growth and development of the program in grades 5 through 12. One of the things I've always admired about Julia is that she has always led with a vision of the entire district in mind, and I know she will maintain that same vision as she advocates for the students and staff of Jockey Hollow. So it is my pleasure to introduce and recognize Julia Strong as our next principal of Jockey Hollow Middle School.
Congratulations, Julie. Good luck. All right, item number 6, reports of the committees. Does anyone have any committee reports? I know it's usually light during the summer. I don't. No? Okay. Moving right along, number 7, report of the superintendent. Joe.
I'm going to turn it over to Ron for the first 3 items on the underneath the report of the superintendent for the review of the May and June fund activity statements, and then the year-to-date budget.
Okay, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on the May fund activity statement unless anyone has any questions. To June, May's a little stale at this point. Sorry. So the June fund activity statement. Let's start with the budget, part of the budget fund. Pages 77 through 79. 79 right now, it's showing that we're going to have a surplus at the end of the year of about $615. That's before closing out the purchase orders. I expect that number to increase probably in the 7-figure range. It'll be in the low 7-figure range. And that's encumbering for many of the projects that we've already, that we'll be discussing during the budget transfer, which I believe Joe has already talked to you guys about in your weekend review. So does anyone have any questions on the year-to-date budget report?
Ron, I want to clarify, because that's really good news. So we are expecting approximately $1 million surplus to
Yeah.
turn back to the town.
And again, a lot of that was driven, special ed driven. There was also a big surplus in the medical insurance line from last year, which was anticipated because we ran into a different problem than we're running
Yeah.
into going into this year. But yeah,
Clear, that's 700,000, not $1 million. And all those overages, percentage-wise, are accounted for. in the
yeah.
year-to-date budget.
So the surplus right now it's at 615.
Right,
Okay, that's when, as we
Without-
close purchase orders out,
Right.
that number will increase.
okay.
So everything that needs to be encumbered is encumbered.
Good,
So-
good.
Ron, you expect it to go up to potentially $1 million? Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Okay, either way, it's money, it's surplus money
that's a
coming
plus,
back to the
yeah.
town. So our thanks to everybody for watching the pennies, and we'll have more conversation about that later on. Thank you, Ron.
All right, so from there, item C, the year-end budget transfer, and it's in your packet on page 89. Again, this is in summary format, the way we've done it the last couple years by major object code. And again, this is showing some of the surplus funds being moved over to cover areas that generated deficits as a result of a lot of the year-end projects that we were looking to tackle. So I don't know if anyone, as far as I don't know if anyone has any questions on any of that.
Were you saying we had a different problem with medical last year than we have going into this year?
So last year, so fiscal year '22, we were given a number from the state to budget, and it actually came in lower than that, where the reverse happened this year.
Oh, okay,
We were given a number by the state, and it exceeded that.
okay.
Yeah, for our last fiscal year, they had told us to budget 8%. It came in at about
Six.
6. This year, they told us 8%, and it came in at
10.
a little over 10.5, yeah, or right around 10.5.
Yeah.
And I just saw an article in the news, like, in general, that's what's happening with that cost. So it's not just, it's probably not just the schools and us, it's a thing, I guess, right? The healthcare costs increase.
Yeah.
And more access. Because a lot of hospitals weren't taking people for elective stuff during COVID, so now that you could go, you're gonna see more claims. So
Yeah.
that was part of it, I'm sure. So Ron, is your suggestion that for some of these line items that were over like 200% and stuff, we can adjust this year's budget to up those line items? So we see this as a potential for next year, or, I mean, overall budget's fantastic, but for the specific lines that are up, should we just adjust those budget accounts and slide money?
You're saying where we,
Right, where we went over in significant, we know oil and all that's gonna be a bust,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So again, there's money for fiscal year '23.
Right,
There's money in the contingency for
Oil and
medical
gas, right.
and for
Utilities.
Utilities.
Yes.
Okay, but some of these line items went up, substantially. Should we adjust knowing that we covered it, and next year have that as our base?
Baseline.
Right. Is that what you normally do? I'm sorry, I'm a rookie, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Well, we'll see how stuff starts tracking
Okay.
early in fiscal '23.
Okay, thanks.
The last 2 years have been so difficult to budget and
Yeah,
plan
well,
out, so.
we were
It's your best
budgeting,
guess,
yeah,
right.
we were budgeting in outside of a pandemic and then during a pandemic
Right,
and then the reverse, so.
I'm not questioning where they are. I mean, it makes sense when you're looking at it, but, if it's gonna continue, we probably should adjust for
Right.
moving funds, right? Nice.
Ron, with the year-end budget transfers, we need to have a vote on that, correct?
So, yes, so we do need to amend the agenda. We need to add an item B under new business.
Perfect segue there. Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to add 10B, approval of the budget transfers as presented?
I make that
Shannon
motion.
makes a motion,
Second.
Christine seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. So we will add, under new business 10B, approval of the budget transfers as presented. Thank you. Joe, go ahead with D.
Yep, I just wanted to keep everybody in the loop of where we are with enrollment. We have, the big question coming into, this year, based on the last 2 years, is we seeing a trend or are we seeing a blip? And it does look like things are starting to stabilize. So, a lot of this is really not that new of information compared to where we were the last time I gave an enrollment update, which was on May 2nd. Monroe Elementary, the area that is of little concern, well, the area that we're watching the most is our preschool enrollment. We are starting with 80, it looks like we're going to be starting with 82 students. Remember now, that's a number that does not decrease during the year. They're not, all kids are not necessarily there every single day. Some kids are scheduled for their service hours on, alternating days and whatnot, but it is definitely, in May, we were at 75, so we're already going to be starting with 82. That number, like I said, it will only increase. We've done some work at Monroe Elementary and central office. If you come to central office, our conference room is now going to be an art room. We moving the art room upstairs to make the art room downstairs a kindergarten room to make space for another preschool room. So we're definitely getting very tight. I know Dave and I have had the conversations about obviously we have to look at space and facilities and whatnot. So the rest of Monroe Elementary, pretty stable, throughout. Fawn Hollow, we're in decent shape at Fawn Hollow. Pretty much where we expected. We had 6 sections of kindergarten last year, so that'll be 6 sections of first grade this year. We had anticipated having 6 sections of kindergarten again. We weren't sure, was that going to be a blip or a trend? Right now, we're holding pretty tight at 5 with a section, average section size of 20. We did have to add a 5th grade section because we had 5 sections of 4th grade last year, so that came up to 5 sections of 5th grade this year. They've had, a little bit of growth over the summer, not too much. And then the area, and Ashley brought this to our attention, is at Stepney. Not a whole heck of a lot of growth, but the area that we are seeing the most growth is in our current 2nd grade. Last year we had 70 students in 1st grade for an average of 2 sections of 23, 1 section of 24, which is a lot for 1st grade. Unfortunately, that number has since grown. We're up at 76 students right now. So that would be, with 3 sections, that would be 2 sections of 25, 1 section of 26. It's a group of students who, started kindergarten in hybrid instruction. I keep saying, then they had this year, which was not normal. 25 and 26 in 2nd grade is just, it's not going to be enough. So working, Ashley's here. We working with Ashley to add a section there, which is a little difficult at this juncture because kids have gotten their assignments, so we're going to have to reach out to families and do that. But we have to do something to address the section size there. So the question is going to be, once we're done with all the hiring, is trying to figure out how are we going to fund this. There's a couple of options depending on where we shake out once all of our new hires are in. Is there room in the budget? If not, do we look at the ESSER grant? It's one of the luxuries of having the grant. So we will. I'm confident that we'll be able to cover it one way or the other, but it just depends on which way we're gonna do it. So that was. I just wanted to make sure everybody was in the loop on that new section at Stepney. Jockey Hollow is actually down about 20 students total. It doesn't really equal out to a section, a complete section. And Massachusetts down about 9 students. Again, that doesn't really tip the scales one way or another. And those numbers will increase as the summer goes on too. We have a lot of summer move-ins as the summer goes on. So I just wanted to keep everybody in the loop. The big news out of all this was the addition to the section at Stepney. Any questions about that?
One, and I don't know if it's pertinent, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of new hires. Does that have any impact on the pre-K or any of the, is that counted in this? Any of the new teachers coming in have kids coming to the school?
Any of the new teachers that we're hiring have kids that are going to be coming into our
Right.
schools? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah. Yeah, and if so, I don't know how much of an impact that would have. But-
Okay.
Alan?
Joe, how are we doing with space over at Stepney?
Stepney's okay. Ash? Ashley, the question was about the space at Stepney?
We have a classroom for the in second grade.
Yes.
We do have a classroom for the second grade. We had 4 sections last year, and that was going to be a vacant room this year. So we do have space.
The other piece I just wanted to keep everyone in the loop about is our summer projects. I know Dan's here. I thank Dan for all the work that he and his staff have been doing. A lot of irons in the fire right now as the year goes on. Just a couple of the big ones I'll just highlight at each school. There's a whole bunch of projects going on, but the walk-in freezer and refrigerator at Fawn Hollow has been removed. He's getting ready to install the new one. Mike Samuelson, our electrician, is replacing countertops and sinks and drains in 11 different classrooms over there. Monroe Elementary, we had a lot of work over there. If you remember, all of Monroe Elementary is at steam heat. We had a pipe that needs replacing between the pre-K wing, the preschool wing, and then the main building. So that's in process right now. There was also a doorway across from the preschool wing that was having some structural deficiencies. So we have Bismarck scheduled to come in and fix that. I talked about the new preschool room and the addition and what that created with the art room upstairs. And then if you've driven by Monroe Elementary in the past few days, you saw that we just had some paving done out front as well. We had that huge pothole that in the wintertime became like a skating rink because it filled up with water and then turned to ice. They did a really nice job. Today was I guess our stress test. It rained quite a bit today. I was really nervous to see where that water was going to go, but they have it nicely going, straight out into the grass area, and so not to create any other puddling. And they created a pretty good berm there, so the water from the street doesn't come onto the driveway. Stepney, the big job happening at Stepney right now is the removal and the installation of the new gym floor in there. The previous floor did have mercury, so we had to do an abatement to that. So we're waiting. We're taking the floor out. Now we have to wait for for that to get cleared of the mercury, and we can start installing the new floor, new steamer and dishwasher in the cafeteria. And then we also, during COVID, we changed the pattern of the driving. So we finally paved. Jeff, I know you drove through that access road several times. That is now nicely paved.
It's paved.
So, yeah.
My car thanks you for paving.
Jockey Hollow has the underground storage tanks. Again, these are just a few of the big projects. There's a bunch of work going on at all the schools, but we're in the process of removing the oil tanks for the heating system and the generator and adding the new above ground tank. They stripped the floor in there down to bare wood, so they're going to restripe it and reseal it. That gets done, Dan, every 10 years maybe, when the total strip?
Yeah, total strip's 10 years.
Yeah.
In the gym?
In the gym, yeah. So, on the other years, they just kind of do a scratch and coat. This is taking it all back down to bare wood and restriping it and whatnot, which it needed. Massac, we removed the underground oil tanks here as well, same as Jockey Hollow. The auditorium stage floor, if you remember when we did the walk around, that's being replaced as we speak. And then doing some paving in the back of the building where people access through the back by the pool. That's all in addition to, pulling every ounce of furniture out of every classroom, going into the rooms, stripping the floors down of all the wax, and going in and re-waxing and getting everything back in. Then Paul and his staff come in with IT. Actually, they go in first. They disconnect everything. Our custodians pull everything out. Then they put everything back in when it's all waxed and ready, and IT goes back in and sets everything up. So it's a huge process, and that's just the regular, That's the regular maintenance that happens in the summer, in addition to all this other big work that's going on.
Yeah, I just want to say, Dan, good work, keep it up. Joe took me around, I walked a couple schools with him, and you can see the tremendous amount of work that you and your crew is doing, so good job with everything. Yeah, schools are going to look nice in a couple of months.
Just one
Dennis?
question, the steam replacement in Monroe, well, that's really a temporary fix, right, to get us through until, I think, 3 years from now, we have it scheduled to be replaced capital-wise?
The steam pipe?
Yeah, remember with the steep heat?
No, it was a temporary fix over the winter to get us through the winter.
Okay,
This replacement happening this summer is the permanent replacement.
okay, but don't we have it on the capital plan for like 3 years from now to replace that?
Oh, you mean throughout the?
Throughout that
the
whole
building?
school? Yeah,
Yeah, it is on the capital plan throughout
Okay.
the whole school.
just check, thanks.
That's a big one.
You're talking about the steam underneath Monroe L?
Yeah,
Yeah, one of those collapsed by the back door.
I know,
so,
the other
yeah.
one been popping left and right,
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we've been lucky, so. all right.
It's funny, like now we're going to the above ground oil tanks, like we did this a long time ago residentially, but now it's a thing for the schools too.
Yeah. And is Jockey Hollow natural gas too, Dan, or no?
Yeah, it has,
It is.
it's natural gas. You have the underground oil tank, that's getting removed, so we're only putting an above ground tank for the generator. So
Okay.
it'll be solely gas.
Yeah. Massac is
Same
natural,
with
it's all
Massac.
natural gas too, yep.
Right,
Yeah. And the oil tank will be for the generator.
just for the generator.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The pool filter was looked at here too, right?
Yeah. this
Dan,
is
yeah,
what
Joe
it's
gave
at.
me that update, so,
Yeah, that'll happen after summer, but.
yeah. It's all good. Yeah.
My last update is just on negotiations. We're obviously going to be going into executive session in a few minutes to talk about the nurses' contract. Unfortunately, the paraeducators were not able to get together before school got out, so we don't have a ratified contract from them just yet. It seems like everything is done. It's just a matter of them getting together, voting on it, which I anticipate happening as soon as they come back from the summer. The two that we have going on right now, we do have negotiations with the custodians and the MEA coming up. Negotiations with the MEA, with the teachers, are statutorily scheduled. That is in August. So if you want to sit on that committee, please let Dave or I know, because that'll be starting soon. So we're going to be looking for probably at least one other board member with Dave to.
Which
be
committee,
on that
Joe?
The teacher negotiations.
Uh-huh.
Teachers union, yeah. Dennis, you're interested? Jeff again, maybe?
As long as
I
we
don't
don't
know.
stay till 3 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning, again? We did receive a letter from, about the teachers union, on May 19th, from the state. So, we do have to commence August 17th. So, everything is set by date with that, so.
Yep.
What
Thank you.
about, Board of Finance? Who's gonna be there from the Board of Finance?
I'll reach out to get a Board of Finance rep. Yep, I'll talk to Mike.
Ron, we were talking
can
about
ask.
this today. I said, I have something for Board of Finance for Thursday.
Yeah.
That's what
That
it
was
was to reach out to them to see if they have a volunteer to serve on that committee.
Good, Joe? Yep,
good.
okay. Number 8, old business, there is none, unless anybody, no, okay. Number 9, executive session to discuss the teacher's contract. Ladies and
Nurses.
gentlemen, huh?
Nurses.
Nurses, sorry. Nurses, tentative agreement. I think in the future that what we'll probably do is a non-meeting to have these conversations before the meeting. I got some feedback from this, and the better way of doing it might be a non-meeting before the meeting, and then we can discuss the exact terms of the contract, and then just come in and just run the meeting instead of, having a break.
Right.
So, can I have a motion? The Board of Education hereby moves to enter into executive session to discuss collective bargaining matters and to review documents related to the strategy and potential settlement of the nurses' successor collective bargaining agreement. The board further invites into executive session the following individuals: the superintendent of schools, Ron, director of finance. I have a motion. Christine,
So moved.
seconded by Dennis. Any discussion?
Yes, one correction to the agenda as laid out. We're not voting in executive session, that's afterwards. It's
Correct,
on
I
there
was gonna
twice.
mention
So-
that, yep. We will go into executive session, we will come back out and vote on that, and also vote on the budget transfer. So we'll meet back here. All in favor? Aye, thank you. We are in executive session. Go into this classroom back here?
Yes.
Okay, we've been called out of executive session by myself at 7:38. Call the meeting back to order at 7:39. Moving on to item number 10, new business. Number A, approval of the Nurses Union Collective Bargaining Agreement for the period of July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion as presented in the agenda? Shannon, seconded by Dennis. Any discussion? No,
Thank you.
no
Thank you to the
discussion.
nurses
Thank you,
for
nurses. Yep.
Always, but especially these past couple of years, thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to item B, which was added. Do I have a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented? Shannon, seconded by Christine. Any discussion? No, I think Ron explained them very well. No further discussion. All in favor? Aye, unanimous. Thank you very much. Mr. Stevens.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Jerry, seconded by Shannon's on a
On
roll
fire
tonight.
today. I haven't been motioning
No
lately,
discussion,
so-
all in favor, unanimous. Good night, everybody.
Good night.